The research ship Willow moved quietly through the stars. It was small, old, and slow, but strong. It carried only 6 people. They were scientists, engineers, and explorers. Their mission was simple: find new worlds, make contact, learn, and return home. One of them was a young technician named Rian. He was not the captain or the smartest on board. He worked with machines, mostly kept quiet, and liked walking alone during planet surveys. He joined this mission to see things no one had seen before. Today, they reached a new planet called Velar. It was green from space. Forests covered most of the land. Rivers and lakes shimmered like silver threads. The crew was excited. No cities. No signs of danger. It looked perfect for research. They landed near a wide clearing surrounded by tall blue-leaf trees. Birds flew in circles above the trees. The air was fresh. It smelled like rain and wildflowers. Rian stepped out first, holding a small scanner. The captain, a quiet man named Bron, gave orders. Stay close. No wandering far. We don't know what's out there. The others nodded. But Rian felt something pulling him toward the woods. Not fear. Something else. Curiosity. As the team began setting up the camp, Rian's scanner beeped. A strange energy signal blinked far to the east. It was not strong, but it pulsed like a heartbeat. Rian looked around. No one noticed him slip away. He followed the signal through the trees. The forest was calm. Sunlight came through the branches. He walked for nearly an hour. Then he saw it, a stone path, old and cracked. Hidden under the roots, it led to a round opening between 2 hills. Vines covered the entrance. A faint glow came from inside. Rian hesitated, then stepped forward. Inside was a temple, tall walls made of smooth stone. Symbols he didn't understand were carved everywhere. The air was warmer here. At the center stood a tall figure. She was unlike anything Rian had seen. The Queen of Velar. Her skin was silver blue, and her long hair flowed like water. Her eyes glowed soft green. She wore no armor, no crown, but she stood like a ruler. Rian stopped, unsure what to do. He raised his hands to show he had no weapon. The queen looked at him for a long time. Then she stepped closer. Without speaking, she held out her hands, and then was a small, glowing orb. It looked like glass, but shimmered like light trapped inside water. It gave off a gentle hum. She placed it in Rian's hands. Rian didn't move. He wanted to ask many things. What is this? Why give it to me? What does it do? But before he could speak, the queen stepped back and slowly faded into the light. It was like she became part of the air. The temple became quiet again. Rian looked at the orb. It was warm. It pulsed gently in his hand. He felt calm, but also confused. He carefully placed it in his pack and turned back toward camp. He walked faster this time. The sun was lower, and shadows grew long. When he returned, the captain looked angry. "Where were you?" Bron asked. "We searched for you. You weren't answering the radio." "I lost signal," Rian said. "I found something." He showed them the orb. Everyone gathered around. The science officer, a sharp woman named Kara, scanned it. Her eyes narrowed. "It's not a natural object. It's not man-made either. No signal. No power reading. But it's doing something." The crew took it inside the ship and placed it on a scanning table. Lights flickered. Systems blinked strangely. The ship's AI voice paused once, then continued as if nothing happened. Kara frowned. "Did it cause that?" she asked. No one answered. That night, as Rian lay in his bunk, he held the orb. He listened. A faint humming came from it, not loud, but steady. He placed it near his pillow and closed his eyes. He dreamed of tall towers, rivers of light, and a sky filled with stars he had never seen before. Voices spoke in a language he didn't know, but somehow understood. He woke up before dawn, sweating. The orb was still there, still warm. He didn't tell the others about the dream. By morning, things had changed. The ship's system scan showed small electrical spikes across the entire hull. Lights flickered. The engines, though turned off, gave off a slight pulse. Kara scanned the orb again. "It's doing something. maybe it's alive. Or maybe it's a key, a tool. Braun wasn't sure. We should report it, or leave it here. But Rian spoke up. I don't think we should leave it. I think she gave it to us for a reason. Who is she? Kara asked. The Queen, Rian said. Or maybe the Guardian? I don't know. But she trusted me. Braun looked at the others. No one had an answer. That day, the orb pulsed again. This time, it sent a wave of energy through the ship. The engines powered up by themselves, systems realigned. A broken part in the communication relay lit up. Kara ran tests. This is impossible, she said. That part was dead. The orb fixed it. It's helping us. Still, no one could explain how or why. Rian stood near the ship's window, holding the orb again. He looked out toward the forest. She'll come back, he said softly. I can feel it. And deep in the forest, the Queen of Velar stood near the glowing lake, watching the sky. She whispered a word in her language. It meant awakening. The first step had begun. The next morning on Velar was quiet. The sky was soft blue. Wind moved gently through the tall trees. But inside the ship Willow, things were not peaceful. Kara sat at her station, watching strange signals move across her screen. She looked confused. The orb is sending out waves, but it's not noise. It's like a code. Captain Braun leaned over her shoulder. Is it trying to talk? I don't know, Kara said. But it's not random. It's repeating. It has a pattern. Rian sat nearby, holding the orb in both hands. It still pulsed with warm light. He looked tired. His dreams had returned. More towers, more strange voices, and now a feeling of something watching him. I think it's calling, Rian said. Braun turned to him. Calling who? I don't know, Rian answered. But I can hear it in my sleep. It sings. Kara frowned. That's not possible. This thing is silent. No sound, just frequency waves. Rian shook his head. Not with ears. I hear it in my mind. The others glanced at each other. Some looked worried. We should report this, said Braun. Earth Command needs to know. He walked to the comm station and pressed the main signal button. The lights blinked once, then turned red. The screen flashed. Transmission error. System failure. Braun checked the lines. It's not working. Kara ran a fast scan. Our communication array is down, something short of the core. But we fixed that part yesterday. Rian looked at the orb. It pulsed again. Then the ship. Lights blinked, and the comm system turned green. Signal restored. Braun stepped back. What just happened? Kara stared at the screen. The orb fixed it again. It's connected to the ship somehow. It's helping, but we don't know why. Rian felt a pressure in his chest. The orb seemed to be inside him, even when he wasn't touching it. He placed it on the table and backed away. That night, the dreams became stronger. Rian saw a wide hall filled with light. Creatures like Queen Azera stood in silence, facing a great stone. The orb floated above it. Then, darkness came, sharp claws, red eyes, and black clouds covered the sky. Rian heard the word Threx. It echoed again and again. He woke with a start. His hands shook. The orb sat quietly on the small table next to his bed. Rian dressed quickly and went to Kara. I need you to scan this again, he said. She sighed. I already did that 3 times today. Please, Rian said. Just once more. Deep scan. Kara nodded and placed the orb into the scanner. This time, she pushed the deeper signal mode. A low hum filled the lab. The screen changed. Lines of strange symbols appeared. Then, an image of map. What is that? Kara asked. I saw that place. Rian whispered. In my dream, Kara zoomed in. The map showed a path leading through the forest, then deep underground. At the center was a blinking mark. It's calling you again, Kara said, or it's leading you. Braun walked in just then. If it's a trap, you may not come back. Rian looked at him. I don't think it's a trap. She gave me this for a reason. I need to find out why. The crew argued for a while. In the end, Braun agreed to let Rian go. But this time, Kara went with him. She wanted to see the source of the signal herself. They packed gear, lights, food, and water. Rian took the orb. It glowed brighter the moment he touched it. The trees seemed to shift as they walked, opening a path they had not seen before. After an hour, they reached a rocky hill. A cave opened at the bottom. Strange marks were carved near the entrance. This matches the temple's symbols, Kara said. Inside, the tunnel was dark and wide. Walls glowed faintly, lighting their path. After a long walk, they reached a large chamber. At the center was a stone platform, shaped like a circle. Round it were tall crystal pillars. The orb shook gently in Rion's hand. He stepped forward. The platform lit up. The orb floated into the air and hovered above the stone. Lights formed in the air. Images danced around them, memories from long ago. Cities in the clouds. Rivers of energy. Then, a war. Black creatures, moving like smoke, crushing everything. The Threx, Rion said softly. The vision showed the Villari people falling. Only one weapon remained, the orb. The last queen placed it inside the temple. She waited. She believed someone would come, someone who could awaken it. Then, the vision faded. Kara stepped back, silent. Rion looked at the orb. It came down slowly, landing in his hands again. But now, it glowed brighter. It felt alive. He heard a voice, not with ears. In his mind, "You are chosen." He turned to Kara. "Did you hear that?" She shook her head. "Hear what?" The orb spoke to me. Just then, the wall shook. A soft sound came from the far side of the cave. Queen Azera stood there, silent. She looked at Rion. "You accepted the gift. Now you must accept the bond." Rion stepped closer. "What is the bond?" She reached out and touched the orb. It pulsed once. Then, it sank into Rion's chest. He cried out. Light flashed across the chamber. Then silence. Rion opened his eyes. He was lying outside the cave. Kara sat beside him, checking his pulse. "You passed out," she said. "Are you okay?" Rion sat up. "I think so." He placed a hand on his chest. The orb was gone, but he still felt it inside, like a fire that didn't burn. They stood together. Queen Azera was gone again. But something had changed. Rion could hear things he couldn't before. The wind, the ground, the forest itself. And the hum was louder now. The queen had given him more than a gift. She had given him a mission. Rion walked slowly beside Kara as they returned to the ship. The forest felt different now. The trees moved gently, almost as if they were alive. The wind whispered softly in Rion's ears. He did not understand the words, but he felt them. Something had awakened inside him. Kara kept looking at him. "You look different," she said. Rion looked at his hands. "I feel different too, like something inside me is awake now." They reached the ship just before sunset. The rest of the crew waited. Outside, Captain Braun stepped forward. "Well, what did you find?" Kara explained everything. The cave, the platform, the visions, and the queen. Then she paused. "The orb is inside him now. It merged with him." Braun stared at Rion. "You let it enter your body. I didn't have a choice." Rion said, "She said I had to accept the bond." Braun crossed his arms. "You've made yourself a part of their plan. That could be dangerous." Rion met his eyes. "I think it's more dangerous if we ignore it." Later that night, Rion stood outside the ship alone. He closed his eyes. The forest hummed around him. He reached out with his mind, and something answered. He saw a path, a glowing river beneath the surface. It led to another hidden place, far below the ground. He opened his eyes. "I know where we need to go," he whispered. The next day, Rion led the team to a new location. This time, the queen was waiting for him at the edge of the forest. She nodded once and turned. Rion followed her without question. The others followed behind, silent. They walked for hours. Trees grew taller and closer together. The light above faded. At last, they reached a cave entrance shaped like a triangle. A warm breeze came from inside. The queen pointed to the opening. "Only the bonded may enter." Rion looked back. Kara wanted to speak, but stopped herself. Braun nodded once. Rion entered the cave alone. Inside, the walls glowed faintly. The path went deep. He walked slowly, his hand brushing against the smooth stone. The deeper he went, the warmer it became. He reached a large underground chamber. The roof was high. At the center was a lake, its water glowing with soft blue light. Strange plants floated on the surface. The air smelled sweet. Ryun stepped closer. Symbols on the wall began to shine. He could understand them now. They told a story. A long time ago, the Velari lived in peace. Their world was full of life. But then the Threx came, creatures made of shadow and hunger. They destroyed everything. No weapon could stop them. So the Velari built something new. A living weapon, a gift of will and light, the orb. But no Velari could use it. Only someone from another world could unlock it. Someone with a different kind of strength. Ryun stared at the last symbol. It showed a human figure holding the orb, standing before the Threx swarm. A voice echoed in the chamber. It was the queen. You now see the truth. The orb is not a weapon of hate. It is a weapon of hope. But it needs a will strong enough to guide it. Ryun turned. The queen stood at the edge of the lake. How do I use it? He asked. She raised her hand. You must pass the test. The orb will show you your deepest fear. You must face it and not turn away. Ryun stepped onto a stone platform in the middle of the lake. The water rose around him like soft waves. Then, the orb inside him pulsed once, the world around him changed. He stood in the middle of a burning city. People ran and screamed. Shadows moved through the flames. Ryun saw himself standing still, afraid, doing nothing. Then a voice said, You failed them. He turned. A dark figure stood nearby. It looked like him, but its eyes were cold. You are not ready, the figure said. You are weak. You will break. Ryun closed his eyes. He remembered his life. He remembered growing up alone. Always. Feeling small. Always fixing machines. Never leading. Never speaking up. But now, he had something more. He had a purpose. He opened his eyes. I'm not afraid of who I was, Ryun said. I'm not that person anymore. The shadow figure laughed, but the fire began to fade. Light pushed it back. The city turned quiet. The ground turned to stone. Ryun was back in the chamber. The queen stood beside him. You passed, she said. The orb accepts you fully now. You are the light bearer. Ryun looked at his hands. A soft glow shone under his skin. He felt energy flowing through him, calm and strong. What happens now? He asked. The queen looked at the wall of symbols. The Threx are coming. The signal has already reached them. They will come to take this world. And yours. Ryun felt a chill. Then we need to stop them. She nodded. Yes, but we cannot do it alone. They returned to the surface. The others waited. Ryun stepped out first. His eyes glowed softly. You're glowing, Kara said. I passed the test. He said, I'm ready now. Braun stepped forward. Ready for what? Ryun looked at the sky. To fight. The camp was quiet when Ryun returned from the cave. The others stood in silence as he walked toward them. The glow from his eyes and hands had faded. But something in him had clearly changed. He looked stronger, calmer, like someone who had been through something deep and returned with a purpose. Captain Braun stepped forward. What did she show you? Ryun paused before answering. She showed me the past. She showed me what the orb really is, and she warned me. The Threx are coming. Not just here. They're heading toward Earth too. Braun's face became serious. You're sure? Ryun nodded. The queen said the signal from the orb reached them. They'll come to destroy everything. Kara looked around nervously. We're not ready for something like that. Ryun turned to her. That's why. We need help. The queen said the orb has power, but it needs others with strong will to support it. She called it the weapon of light, guided by living spirit. Braun crossed his arms. Even if that's true, we're just a small crew. We can't stop a war. Ryun looked at the forest behind them. Maybe not alone. But the Velari still have old ships, old weapons, and knowledge. If they stand with us, we have a chance. Braun thought for a moment. Then he gave a small nod. All right, let's talk to her. See what she offers. That night, Queen Azera visited their camp. She came alone, without guards, and walked softly among the trees. Her presence was quiet, but every crew member felt it. She sat near the fire. Her voice was calm. The Threx destroyed many worlds, We pushed them back long ago, but they are hungry. They always return. Kara asked, "Why didn't you fight them again?" The queen looked into the fire. "Because we lost too many. Our people chose silence over more war. We sealed away the orb, hoping someone would find it when the time was right." Rian spoke next. "And now it's me, yes?" She said, "You are the first in many cycles to awaken its light." Bronn asked, "What can we do with it?" The queen raised her hand. A small map of stars formed in the air. Red dots moved slowly toward a bright blue dot in the center Earth. "They are not near yet," she said, "but they are coming. We must go to the ancient hangars and wake the last of our sky ships. Then we go to your world and warn them." Bronn looked unsure. "They may not believe us." Rian stepped forward. "Then we show them the truth. We show them the power of the orb. And we fight together." Kara nodded slowly. "We can't run from this." The next day, the queen led them to a mountain in the east. It looked like stone from the outside, but inside was a hidden base. The door opened when Rian touched it. Lights came on after centuries of silence. The air was dry. Dust floated in the hallways, but the machines were still there, tall. Silver ships rested like sleeping giants. Kara walked around them, amazed. "These are beautiful," she said. Rian placed his hand on one of the ships. The orb inside him pulsed. Lights on the ship turned on. The engines hummed. "They still work," he said. The queen stood at the center. "The orb's power can wake them, but they need pilots. The bond must grow." She walked to Rian and placed her hand on his chest. "You must share the spark." Rian looked confused. "How?" She touched Kara's hand, then guided it to Rian's. The orb pulsed again. Kara gasped. A soft light passed from Rian to her. Her eyes widened. "I can feel it, just for a moment, like a heartbeat." The queen nodded. "Now she can guide a ship. But the bond is weak. It must grow stronger, one by one." The queen helped each crew member receive a small part of the orb's light. They became linked to Rian, and through him, to the ancient technology of VELA or dot soon. 3 ships were powered and ready. The crew trained under the guidance of Velari elders. Rian practiced with his energy. He could now form a shield around himself. He could move objects with focus. He could sense danger before it came. Kara studied the ship's systems and taught the others. Bronn focused on tactics. The younger crew, Toma and Lyra, learned fast, but time was short. A scout drone from the Threx arrived at the edge of the system. It was black, sharp, and moved like smoke. The queen called Rian. "We must strike it before it sends a full message," she said. Rian and the others launched in their ships. The Velari sky lit up as they flew. Rian's ship was the fastest. The orb guided him. He found the drone first. It saw him and turned to flee. Rian focused his energy. The ship responded. A beam of light shot forward and struck the drone. It twisted in the air, broken, but not destroyed. The drone released a signal. Rian shouted, "It's calling the others." Toma and Lyra fired together. The drone exploded into dust. They returned to the base. The queen stood waiting. "We stopped it," Rian said, "but it sent something." The queen looked at the stars. "Then Earth is in danger. We must leave soon." Rian nodded. He felt the weight of the orb inside him. It was no longer just a gift. It was a warning and a promise. The stars above Velar shone brightly as the crew prepared their ships for battle. The warning from the Threx scout was clear. The enemy was coming, fast. Rian stood beside Captain Bronn and Kara. Each of them felt the weight of the coming fight. The crew was small, but their new power gave them hope. Queen Azera appeared quietly among them. Her silver-blue skin glowed softly in the dim light. "The Threx will arrive soon. They are strong, but slow. They do not understand the power of the orb." Rian touched the place in his chest where the orb's power lived. He could feel it burning softly, waiting to be used. "We must strike first," Rian said. "If they reach Velar, they will destroy everything." Bronn nodded, agreed. "We attack their fleet before it grows." The Velari ships rose like silver birds. Their engines hummed with ancient power. The Earth crew climbed aboard their own vessels. Feeling the connection through the orb's light, Rion's ship was different. It was smaller and faster, built for quick strikes. As he sat in the cockpit, he felt a rush of energy flow through him. The orb responded to his thoughts, moving with him as if it were alive. The ships launched into the dark sky, heading toward the edge of the system. The stars seemed to blur as they sped forward. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a massive shadow. The Threx fleet appeared like a dark cloud, moving slowly but with terrible force. Their ships looked like living machines made of black metal and sharp edges. Rion's heart beat fast. But he did not panic. Focus on the lead ship, Queen. Azera's voice echoed in his mind. It carries their command. The battle began with flashes of light and thunderous blasts. The Velari and Earth ships fired beams of energy. The Threx responded with deadly swarms of smaller drones. Rion weaved through the battlefield, guided by the orb's power. His ship glowed as he channeled light into his weapons. He fired at the command ship, hitting its hull with a burst of energy. The enemy shuddered but did not fall. Suddenly, a swarm of drones surrounded Rion's ship. He raised a shield made of pure light. It held against the attacks, but the pressure grew. He called to Kara and Toma, "Cover me. I'm going to break through." The others responded quickly. Beams of energy cut through the drones, clearing a path. Rion pushed forward, aiming directly at the command ship's core. With a final blast, the hull cracked. A burst of dark energy exploded from inside. The command ship began to collapse. The Threx fleet slowed, retreating into the darkness. Rion's ship shook from the blast, but he held steady. The Queen's voice returned. "You have done well." The orb's power is growing. Back at Velar, the crew celebrated their victory. But the threat was not gone. The Threx were far stronger than any enemy they had faced before. Rion knew this was only the beginning. After their first victory against the Threx, the crew returned to Velar. But Rion's mind was already far away on Earth. The Queen's warning was clear. The Threx were coming to his homeworld. There was no time to wait. Captain Braun gathered the crew. "We have the ships and the power. But Earth does not know about the threat. We need to warn them. We must prepare." Kara nodded. "I can help with communications. If the orb helped before, maybe it can help again." Rion held his chest, feeling the orb's warmth. "I feel its power growing. Maybe I can connect with Earth through it." Queen Azera placed a hand on Rion's shoulder. "The orb links worlds. You will find the way." Together, they prepared to leave Velar. The ancient ships came alive, engines humming softly as they powered up. The crew boarded, each feeling the strange bond growing stronger. As they lifted into space, Rion closed his eyes and focused. The orb pulsed, sending waves of light outward. He saw visions of earth-blue oceans, green lands, cities shining bright, but there was danger too. Shadows moving in the dark, unseen by most. The ships moved faster than light, traveling through a glowing portal that opened between the two worlds. When they arrived near Earth, things were already changing. The Threx drones had begun their silent invasion. Small ships moved near satellites and power stations, damaging equipment and causing blackouts. The governments were confused, unable to explain the strange failures. Rion and the crew landed in a hidden base beneath a mountain. Here, Earth's leaders met them with surprise and doubt. "We have no proof of this threat," one leader said. "Why should we believe you?" Rion stepped forward, placing his hand over his chest. The orb glowed brightly beneath his skin. Light spread from him, filling the room with a warm glow. "I am here to warn you. The Threx are coming. They will destroy everything if we do not stand together." The leaders looked at each other. Some saw the light, some saw fear, but they could not ignore the truth. Kara showed the leaders the data from Velar and the battle. She explained the bond between their crew and the ancient ships slowly. The leaders agreed to unite. Earth's armies began to prepare. Scientists studied the orb's power, seeking ways to use it. Rion trained daily, learning to control the light inside him. He could now create shields to protect himself and others. He could move objects with his mind. The orb's energy connected him to Earth's technology in ways no one had imagined. One day, Rian visited an ancient site called Stonewatch Peak. There, he placed his hands on a large stone circle. The orb pulsed strongly. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A hidden machine rose from beneath the earth, a tall structure of metal and light. It glowed with the same energy as the orb. Queen Azera appeared beside him. "This is the gateway," she said. "It links Veller and Earth. Through it, we can share power and knowledge." Rian smiled. "Then we are ready." But the battle was not over. The Threx fleet approached. Dark clouds moved across the stars. Their ships were vast and terrifying. Earth's armies and Veller's ships stood together in space. Rian led the charge, his hands glowing with energy. The final fight had begun. The sky above Earth was dark. The stars hid behind thick clouds of smoke and fire. The Threx fleet had arrived in full force. Their ships filled the space like a swarm of shadows. Moving with deadly intent, Rian stood on the bridge of the lead Vellari ship. His chest burned with the orb's power. He felt its strength and its weight. This was the moment he had prepared for. Around him, Earth's ships and Veller's vessels moved in perfect formation. The armies of two worlds were ready to fight together. Captain Braun looked at Rian. "This is it. Are you ready?" Rian nodded. "I am." The Queen's voice echoed in his mind. "Remember, the orb is a flame. It must be kept alive. Your will is its light." The battle began with a roar. Beams of light and metal clashed in the dark. The Threx ships attacked fiercely, sending waves of smaller drones. Rian's ship glowed brighter as he focused. He raised his hands and sent bursts of energy toward the enemy. His blast struck the Threx ships, breaking their shields. The enemy responded with a swarm aimed directly at Rian. He raised a shield of light. Strong and bright, the drones hit it and shattered. But more came. He called to Kara and Toma, "Cover me. I'm going in." With a burst of speed, Rian flew toward the largest Threx ship, their mothership. It was massive, dark, and alive with energy. Inside the ship, the hulls were cold and empty. Shadows moved like smoke. Rian felt the orb's power pulse stronger, lighting his path. He reached the core chamber, a dark machine, alive and pulsing. With black energy, sat at the center. Rian raised his hands. The orb glowed, bright as a star. He focused all his will on the core. Light met darkness. Energy exploded in a wave that shook the ship. The core cracked and began to break apart. The ship trembled, then started to fall. Rian ran through the corridors as the ship collapsed. He reached an escape pod and launched himself outside. The mothership exploded behind him, a starburst of light and shadow. Back in space, the remaining Threx ships scattered. The swarm was broken. Earth and Veller cheered in their ships. The battle was won. Rian looked at the stars. The orb in his chest still glowed softly. Queen Azera appeared beside him. "You have saved many worlds. The orb's light will guide the future." Rian smiled. "I was not alone. Humanity's fire burned inside me." The Queen nodded. "You were chosen because you carried the strongest light, the fire of hope." The stars shone brighter now. The war was over, but a new journey had begun. Rian held the glowing orb close. He was ready for whatever came next.